And that's why I want every child to just say no to drugs. I know it's not that simple. They must learn why and how to say no, and United Way-funded agencies are helping in this fight. They provide drug abuse prevention counseling and rehabilitation services. And with them, we are making a difference. We must win this war. We must say no to drugs and mean it. By reaching our children, we will win.
And like all volunteers, Nancy knows that we win when we work together. By volunteering, we show the world that when given true freedom and liberty, we can create our own destiny. When you give to the United Way, your gift helps to support many agencies meeting the most pressing needs of people in your community and our nation. So please, join us in this year's campaign. United Way, it brings out the best in all of us.
This is CBS. Tonight on the 10 p.m. report, the deadly aftermath of Hurricane Gilbert. As many as 200 people may have perished in a single accident.
An Apple Valley couple has returned from the region with their own story of the danger and destruction.
Tonight, a look at a new trend in exercise, a speed walking program that can show you the path to better health.
And the Minnesota Gophers took on Miami of Ohio tonight in search of their first win of the season. We'll see how they did. I'm Cindy Hilger.
And I'm Alan Cox, substituting for Mike Walcher. The 10 p.m. report is next.
Right now across America, Sun Valley is rolling out truckloads of quality waterbeds at hot special purchase prices. While they last, handsome Springfield bookcase beds with mirrored headboards are just $149. Soma 2s with adjustable firmness are super values at $299. And solid oak Danish-style waterbeds with floating nightstands are only $699. Buy now with no money down and free financing for 6 months. But you better come to Sun Valley Waterbeds today, because when these special buys are gone, they're gone.
Spooner Wiggins, godfather of the airwaves, here. Ooh, what's your problem?
My husband has been going out every night.
Another woman, huh?
No, Spooner, he's been going down to Godfather's Pizza.
Babe, you can either blow out of there and take us for everything he's got, or call this number!
Was that like a shrink?
A shrink? No, babe, Godfather's Pizza Delivery.
Check your yellow pages for fresh, hot Godfather's Pizza in minutes.
He sounds like an insensitive beast.
A white handkerchief waving from the window of a bus trapped in Mexican floodwaters. Just one of the people caught up in the deadly wake of Hurricane Gilbert. That story leads tonight's 10 p.m. report.
WCCO Television presents Mike Walcher, Cindy Hilger, Mark Strell, and Ralph John Fritz. This is the 10 p.m. report.
Good evening, everyone. The winds of Hurricane Gilbert have died down, but the death toll has gone higher.
In fact, the hurricane named Gilbert is now just a nameless tropical depression. It is scattering rain throughout the south-central part of the United States. But in its wake, Gilbert left an estimated 110 dead in the Caribbean and on the Yucatan Peninsula, and as many as 200 dead in a single accident in Mexico. It happened in the town of Monterey along the Santa Catarina River. Today, submerged vehicles gave evidence of what happened last night. 4 buses filled with people being evacuated from the west were swept away when the river suddenly jumped its bank. One person signaled for help with a handkerchief, but rescue efforts could not save most of the passengers, and 4 police officers died trying to rescue the flood victims. Today, 45 bodies were recovered downriver. Meanwhile, in the town of Monterey, 5 of the 6 main bridges over the river had to be closed for fear they would collapse, and there is no water or electricity.
Gilbert also took its toll in nearby Texas. A woman was killed when a tornado spawned by Hurricane Gilbert hit her mobile home near San Antonio. Witnesses say she was lifted from her bed and thrown 100 feet. A man was also killed in San Antonio when a utility pole crashed into his house. The tornado also ripped apart some hangars at a nearby military base and leveled several new homes that were under construction. But at least one resident took it all in stride.
Everybody looks at it and says it's terrible. I think it looks good. I'm standing up, and so is she.
The latest estimates are that Hurricane Gilbert caused billions of dollars in damage, has left 500,000 people homeless in Jamaica alone, and stranded some 8,000 tourists in Cancun and Cozumel. One couple that has managed to escape the damage returned to Apple Valley this weekend from Jamaica. Tom Stewart has their story and the story of how the Twin Cities are doing their part in the relief effort.
Minnesotans trapped by Hurricane Gilbert continue trying to return home. Those fortunate to find their way back describe the devastation as catastrophic. Dan and Luann Drenkon went to Jamaica on their honeymoon, but the tropical storm of the century arrived at the same time as the newlyweds.
There were trees falling down, and the sand from the beach, I was getting sandblasted from the wind and the water, and I grabbed what I could, and then we got evacuated to a government training center.
It made for a harrowing honeymoon, hardly a romantic one. A table for a bed, little water or electricity, $1,500 in lost belongings, unable to get out for days.
Concern over the hurricane even extended to many attending this Hispanic festival in St. Paul, with Mexican Americans concerned about the safety of relatives in the path of the storm south of the border.
But we don't know for sure, because we don't have no calls from there. We don't know for sure what happened until maybe later today or tomorrow. We don't know for sure.
Yet donations to help the thousands left homeless today streamed into a special Twin Cities Hurricane Relief Fund. $15,000 in medical supplies bound for Jamaica came from North Memorial Medical Center in Minneapolis. The relief will be delivered by an ex-Jamaica resident concerned for her country and for her 4-year-old son staying with relatives there.
I am overwhelmed. I mean, it's just, I can't explain how I feel. And I'm sure the people in Jamaica will be very pleased and be thankful that, the Minnesotans could do this for them.
So as Minnesotans come back home, emergency supplies start heading in the opposite direction. Some hope for an area that may never completely recover. Tom Stewart, WCCO Television News, Minneapolis.
There is still a need for more relief. If you'd like to send financial help, send a check to the Hurricane Relief Fund, 2300 Freeway Boulevard, Brooklyn Center, 55430. The Salvation Army will see that the money is used to help those who need it in the Caribbean and Mexico.
An attempted robbery at a hardware store left a man wounded and a neighborhood shaken in South Minneapolis this afternoon. A would-be holdup man fired 3 shots into the air at the store near 40th and Minnehaha. The store owner's son, Paul Snetting, ran after the gunman. The suspect fired back across the avenue, wounding his pursuer. Then the gunman hit his weapon and approached a home nearby.
I was out back, and this guy come running through the yard and asked if he could use his phone. Said that his card broke down, so I let him in the house use the phone. And then he seemed a little nervous and stuff. He sat down. I gave him a couple glasses of water.
He became even more nervous when he heard police cars were closing in. The suspect left a bag containing a handgun and ran out of the house. He was taken into custody a block away. The man he suspected of shooting was treated for a wound to the thigh. An overnight gang sweep by Minneapolis police led to the arrest of 104 people, 99 juveniles, and 5 adults. The sweep took place near Penn and Plymouth Avenues North. It began at about 10 o'clock last night and didn't end until 5 this morning. Most of those arrested will be charged with misdemeanors ranging from weapons violations to breaking curfew.
1 person is dead tonight and 5 injured after being hit by a car while standing in line to buy Prince tickets. The accident happened in Boston. Authorities say the driver of the car apparently ran a red light, crossed the median, and crashed into a line of people in front of a record store. Authorities plan to charge the driver with vehicular homicide. Prince is scheduled to perform in Boston on October 5th. A fire in South Minneapolis has killed a 23-year-old man. It started about 4 o'clock this morning in the victim's ground floor apartment. Firefighters believe a cigarette may have started the fire. The victim, Michael Henry, was found in a room adjacent to where the fire started. 2 other residents were slightly injured. Fire gutted a corner bar in Robbinsdale early this morning. It broke out just before 5 at Adolph's Bar on 41st Avenue North and West Broadway. 4 fire departments were called in to fight those flames. No one was injured.
Minnesota Gophers, who lost their football opener, tried to even the record tonight, and Ralph John Fritz followed the game. Ralph?
These Big Ten teams are going to want to play each other, Alan. Iowa lost today, Wisconsin, Northwestern. The Gophers do win, though, 35-3 over Miami of Ohio. Darrell Thompson is not really with a high-profile team this year, or they'd hear a lot more about him around the nation, but you can bet the pros will be licking their chops at draft time when Thompson is a senior. Next year, he will be a senior. Here's how he looked, and talented Thompson was running right through Miami of Ohio tonight. Thompson has that uncanny ability to improvise when things are a little sticky. 179 yards rushing for Thompson tonight. He could have had 300 had he played the entire game. That final again was 35-3. The Gophers over Miami of Ohio. We'll have more highlights a bit later. Twins won, but so did Oakland. The magic number is now down to 4. We'll have those highlights a bit later also.
Okay, thanks, Ralph. Minnesota has at least one championship team to brag about tonight. The Minnesota Rolling Gophers today won the National Wheelchair Softball Championship. They defeated last year's grand champs, the Chicago Pacemakers, by a score of 10-6. And if you don't think these guys play hard, just watch this play. There were no serious injuries, and after the game, the Rolling Gophers celebrated like a lot of other athletes with champagne. In just a moment, we'll see what Michael Dukakis and George Bush were up to today in their run for the presidency.
And we will see what some others are up to as they walk for good health. Both stories coming up.
Unlike other copier companies, at Meta we give copiers all our attention, so you won't have to give them any. Unlike other copier companies, at Meta we spend all our resources perfecting our copiers, so you won't have to spend yours repairing them. You see, at Meta we have to make more reliable copiers because unlike other copier companies, our entire business relies on them. Meta, all we make are great copiers. Call 1-800-ABC-META.
You've noticed it before. Something missing in your margarine. Taste, flavor, richness. Now, Land O'Lakes has found what you've been missing. The taste of sweet cream. In Land O'Lakes spread with sweet cream. Just enough sweet cream to make it sweet. Creamy, buttery, yet each serving is cholesterol-free. Land O'Lakes spread with sweet cream. The taste you've been missing.
Honey?
Yeah.
Your son has a craving for a roast beef sandwich.
Sure.
And some fries, too. No, he really wants a chicken sandwich.
No problem.
And a hot ham and cheese.
Want a tender roast beef sandwich, choice chicken fillet, or hot ham and cheese? Surprise! Hardee's has them all. Hardee's specialty sandwiches. We're out to win you over in ways you'd never expect.
Honey?
It's time.
Come drive a Mazda.
It's year-end clearance time. Time to get the deal of the year on a new Mazda. And factory-to-dealer cash incentives can add hundreds to your savings on a Mazda truck. It's time. Time to clear out all the 88s. Mazda's year-end clearance time.
Come drive a Mazda. Do it now.
See your Mazda dealer in Richfield, Brooklyn Center, White Bear, St. Paul, and Minnetonka.
The major presidential candidates spent most of their day trying to cut into issues each other has staked out for himself. Michael Dukakis promised to change the Federal Environmental Protection Agency into a cabinet-level Department of the Environment. Dukakis scoffed at George Bush's statement last month that he's been a lifelong environmentalist. The Democrat accused Bush of doing, quote, more somersaults than an Olympic gymnast on the question of offshore drilling. Bush appeared aside a replica of the Liberty Bell as 174 new citizens took an oath of allegiance to the United States. The vice president did not mention Dukakis, who has emphasized that his parents were immigrants to America. Bush said everyone from the newest citizen to the oldest must participate in the running of the country.
There were others on the run today. Lake Harriet served as the setting for the 7th annual Run for Sobriety. It was sponsored by Eden House and is intended to bring together recovering chemical abusers. Eden House actually consists of 3 facilities in South Minneapolis that treat chemically dependent adults. The pace was just a bit slower at the Minnesota Zoo today for the 2nd annual Walk for the Wild. It's a fun drive sponsored by Channel 4, among others. Colleen Needles led the way with son Tommy. The walk benefits the zoo's Adopt an Animal program.
Clearly, a lot of people were on foot today to improve our surroundings and our lives, but there's something we can do for ourselves. The newest exercise trend, employing one of the oldest forms of exercise. Health and Science reporter Tony Vigneri explains speed walking.
Jan Desiri has been a speed walker for years.
Walking has always been very relaxing for me. I love to walk and have always been interested in walking just for fun. And I don't know, it just makes me feel healthy. It's a good workout, and it's fun being outdoors. I can watch the scenery a little bit better than you can when you run.
Speed walking at least 3 times a week, 30 minutes at a time, can produce some of the same benefits as jogging. It can condition your heart, lungs, and tone your muscles. And swinging your arms during speed walking is extra healthy.
We find that with arm motion we can increase the aerobic activity because that'll again use additional muscles, and since the heart has to pump blood to those working muscles, it will add extra aerobic benefit.
Some people may find that motion a bit peculiar, but Jan Desiri says as speed walking becomes more accepted, people don't even notice that or other ways of speed walking.
Once in a while I'll walk backwards. I have found that that's a very good way of using different muscles. And that's a little strange, but people haven't had the nerve to ask me why I'm walking backwards yet.
Backwards or frontwards, speed walking is catching on as one of the safest forms of exercise. Tony Vigneri, WCCO Television News, Minneapolis.
As Tony says, one of the attractions of speed walking is less wear and tear on the body, but sports doctors say it is best to reduce the chance for injury even more by using walking shoes instead of plain old running shoes. Just a moment, Mark Strell will walk over here to tell us whether we can expect to feel Gilbert's aftermath here in Minnesota.
And after that, a quick musical treat.
With a bank, you have your choice of checking or savings. With a relationship at First Banks, you have your choice of checking, savings, mutual funds, tax-deferred annuities, government securities, the services of a complete discount brokerage, and someone to help you make the right choices. Why settle for a bank when you can have a banking relationship?
I never thought it would happen to me. I mean, I started out listening to Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton. Then I went to a Willie Nelson concert. And then I bought a Hank Williams Jr. tape. Me, the old rock and roller. I like country music. I like it a lot.
Discover the new country music on K102 FM.
Remember the iWorks? Now it's iLab. It's like another grand opening. There's even a special offer. Come on. Pick out new frames from a select group and you pay only half price. There are hundreds of frames to choose from. You can still get quality glasses in 1 hour, and you know they'll be right. Half price sale. Now that's pretty exciting, isn't it? Come on in.
The iWorks is now iLab. Hurry in, sale ends soon.
Here's looking at you, Cupcake.
Stephanie. 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 Stephanie.
I've never had a pimple in my life. Nothing sadder than a perky blonde on the skin. Happiness, always.
On Newhart.
You'll be seeing me.
Newhart.
That's the one.
Newhart, premiering October 3rd on Channel 4.
So here we are 5 days before fall with a high of 89 degrees today. Explain that one.
Well, we've got all these upper air winds that are coming and going, and they're
hot.
Yeah, we've got the sun was shining, right, and all that stuff was being sucked up from the south, and we'll go into greater detail here in just a moment. But we did see plenty of sunshine. These pictures come from Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport. Clear skies right now here in the Twin Cities, and we're only at 74 degrees at 10 o'clock. Relative humidity has been on the increase, 79%. That's because the dew point has been creeping up. In fact, the dew point has been up 10 degrees over the last several hours, and that's going to make it feel a little more sticky tonight. Winds out of the southeast at 6, and the barometric pressure is steady at 29.82. Well, as Cindy mentioned, the high today, believe it or not, 89 degrees, 19 degrees above the average. Morning low at 54, no rainfall today. And sunrise tomorrow at 6:55 and sunsets at 7:19. Well, the biggest thing on the map tonight continues to be Hurricane Gilbert, and here it is, what's left of Hurricane Gilbert, now just a tropical depression. And it has pushed in offshore, as you can very well see in our colorized picture. And as it has moved up, it has lost its definition, it has lost its eye, but still a lot of moisture, a lot of high winds continuing across much of the southwestern portion of the United States, and that thing will be continuing to move up into Texas. In fact, in Texas, over 30 tornadoes have been spawned today. But clear skies throughout the upper Midwest, and that's certainly good news for us. Warm air out of the south and southeast has been pushing us all the way all day long, and that's why the temperatures have been in the 80s and even some 90s here in the southern portion of the state. But that's going to be changing the first part of the week as some cooler air pushes in across the northwest. In fact, there is a winter storm warning for the mountains of Montana tonight where they could see up to a foot of snow. Meanwhile, back here, the big picture is, the big story is the temperature difference across the state today. 36-degree difference between Rochester and the North Shore. Elsewhere, 79 degrees at Duluth, 87 at Alexandria. And you can see the cooler air sagging in out to our west. As that happens, the warmer air is getting pulled up ahead of that frontal system, and it looks like the same thing is going to happen tomorrow. Two big pools of moisture, the leftovers from Gilbert, which will be about the mid-Mississippi Valley tomorrow, and more moisture from that storm system which is moving in from the northwest. We'll be right in between. That means partly sunny skies to mostly sunny skies for us. This is going to mess up the early portion of the week through Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and we could tap a little Gilbert moisture. That means it'll be a fairly wet week, at least especially on Tuesday and Wednesday. Eastern half of the nation will enjoy summertime, with the changes coming and the signal out west with highs tomorrow only in the 40s across portions of Montana. Our forecast tonight goes like this. Clear skies, warm, a little bit humid. You may see an isolated shower. There is a small shower south of Rochester at this hour. Low of about 65 degrees, winds out of the south at 5 to 10. And partly to mostly sunny, it'll be warm and muggy. A high, believe it or not, again of 87 degrees, winds out of the south at 5 to 15. At increasing clouds, a chance of showers on Sunday night, low of 65. The same forecast, different day for Monday. Mostly cloudy, chance of showers and thunderstorms, a high of 80. Tuesday is when we'll feel that colder push of air. Highs will be in the 60s, lows will be in the 50s. That'll take us all the way through to Thursday, the first day of autumn.
And it will feel like autumn by Thursday.
It certainly will, yeah. Hopefully the moisture will kind of dry up, but it'll still be cool and probably pretty cloudy then as well.
Thanks, Mark.
Certainly.
Now imagine, if you will, that you got a late start on this Saturday, maybe up late caring for an infant or a less socially acceptable activity last night, but you make it into Southdale by afternoon, and all you can hear is this. Perhaps you want to run screaming into the Kangaroo parking lot, but if you'd stayed, you would have learned that these folks were the Essentially Jazz Sextet, performing in the Sound of Music contest, sponsored by Kemp's Ice Cream.
Hardee's Garden Fresh Salads. We call them that because our lettuce comes from fresh lettuce. Our cabbage from fresh cabbage. And our carrots from, wouldn't you know it, fresh carrots. And now our freshest idea yet, zesty new Chicken Fiesta Salad with tender marinated breast of chicken. Along with our chef and garden salads, it's a delectable thing we do to win you over.
3 of the best arms in sports. And they're all on the same team. The Star Tribune.
At Meta, we never stop working on copiers, which is why Meta copiers never seem to stop working. Meta, all we make are great copiers.
I'm Harry Sieben, president of the law firm of Sieben, Gross, and Von Holtum. You may have an area just like this in your garage or basement, a place to keep all the tools you need. All these different tools have one thing in common. At the wrong time, they can be dangerous. They can injure you or someone else. A personal injury can be devastating. We may be able to help you recover the cost of your injury, and our initial consultation is free. Know your rights. If you've been injured at work, at home, or on the road, Call Sieben, Gross, and Van Holten.
The Johnsons had an open house tonight, but the guests weren't invited. Luckily, the Johnsons had the Gold Star homeowners policy from American Family Insurance. American Family will repair or replace their house. Great protection on their contents, too. Gold Star homeowners insurance, the best protection you have against uninvited guests.
American Family Insurance.
Look in the white or yellow pages for the American Family agent nearest you.
Come to Nordic Oaks and browse through beautiful European-styled solid oak furniture handcrafted locally. Perfection has never been closer than Nordic Oaks.
The Big Ten's about like a little 8 this year, is that right?
Oh, yeah, they're really bad. They're losing all over the place.
But you just said the Gophers beat Miami.
Yes, they beat Miami. They're the Miami of Ohio. I'd feel better if it was the other Miami, #1 in the nation. It's no secret Miami of Ohio knew what the Gophers are going to do to try to redeem themselves for last week's embarrassment. Get the ball to Daryl Thompson. That simple strategy, and it worked. 35-3 tonight at the Dome. Thompson was willing to give the ball up when called upon. This pass to Chris Gators from Thompson got the Gophers on the board early in that game. They're trying to turn Thompson into the triple threat. You can guess what Thompson does best with the ball, run. When he runs, he often scores. Thompson high-stepped into the end zone 3 times tonight. It's kind of output expected of the All-American. Watch this Thompson run coming up. He gets to the outside and melts the artificial turf on this one. He is a wondrous blend of power and speed. This 34-yarder made the score 28-zip in the third quarter. Thompson gained 179 yards on the ground, accounting for over 200. There's more to the Gopher offense than Thompson tonight. Alan Holt finds Gators in the Redskins' end zone to cap off the fun for the Gophers early in the final quarter. And after the game, Daryl Thompson didn't have any trouble pointing out the difference from last week's shellacking at the hands of Washington State and tonight's win.
I think attitude and just preparation, we prepared better this week, we just had a lot of people, new starting last week and stuff like that, just maybe they weren't totally ready, you think they're ready, they went through spring and stuff, but it's a whole different when the whole crowd's there and, it's their first start and stuff like that, and I think that, offensively, the line was they just came out ready to play tonight. They practiced hard and they were really ready to go.
Like we said earlier, the Big Ten is awful this year. They're playing like the Big Stench. The Big Ten's record in non-conference games is 7-15, believe it or not. Michigan lost to the second most powerful hurricane in the world, the Miami Hurricanes, with St. Paul Cretin Steve Walsh at the helm, blew the Wolverines off the field with 17 points in the fourth quarter. Walsh to Cleveland Gary, counting for 6 of those points. 31-30, Miami. Notre Dame has become the Big Ten killers. Michigan last week, Michigan State today. Michael Stonebreaker's interception was the backbreaker and a 20-3 Irish win. Yes, the Big Ten is the pits these days. Ohio State downright embarrassed at Pitt. Barron Jackson hauled in a bomb 42-10 rout of the 18th-ranked Buckeyes. They won't be ranked this week, you can bet. No one Big Ten school will likely crack the top 20. As we look here, 24-21, Colorado upends Iowa. Northern Illinois beats Wisconsin 19-17. Well, Indiana did win. They beat Kentucky. Northwestern bombed by the Air Force 62-27 with the 2 worst defenses in the nation. Purdue upends Ohio 33-10. Illinois beats Utah 35-24. Talk about guts. Florida State called a fake punt deep in their end late in a tie game at Clemson. You see it pays off. Leroy Butler passed the surprise Tigers for 78 yards, finally forced out at the 2. That set up the winning field goal, another classic college football game this Saturday afternoon. Other scores. We have UCLA rated second, a first quarter lead over Long Beach State. Florida State defeated Clemson 24-21. It was Oklahoma over Arizona. And Auburn 56, Kansas 7. Other scores in the top 10. 7th-rated Georgia just getting by Mississippi State. LSU 34-9 over Tennessee. Columbia loses its 42nd straight. Harvard, a 41-7 winner. Over at Hamline University, the Pipers beat up on St. Thomas 28-13. Blue Earth's John Faring hit his big target, John Voss, on this one for one of 2 Voss scores, number 80 there. Hamline will be a dark horse, but today they trounced the Tommies. Other scores, St. Cloud State beat Mankato State. St. John's in what could have been the MIAC title game, 38-7 over Gustavus. Concordia clobbered Augsburg, and Tom Hosier's Mac Attack beat St. Olaf 14-7. It may all be academic in the American League West, but the Twins continue to play top caliber baseball. They just happen to be in the wrong division this year. Twins win their third straight today, 3-1 over Chicago. Gary Gaetti was cast as an unusual role for him, designated hitter. The G-man responds, big blow, 2-run shot on the 6th. Third base, DH, or pinch hitter. It's nice to have Gaetti back in uniform. It's also nice to have the top left-handed combination in the starting rotation. Frank Viola, we all know about him. Alan Anderson continues to perform like Cy Young candidate. He went 8 innings for the win. Jeff Reardon entered in the Major League record books. His save today, 40th, becomes the first pitcher to record 40 in both leagues. Nice honor.
Yeah, it does feel good. You know, I'm not real big on statistics, but something like that that's never been done before. I didn't even realize it till a couple weeks ago, and it's nice to get it out of the way and just concentrate on, you know, winning the ball games the rest of the year.
All right, American League West. Twins win. Oakland also wins. Magic number is at 4. Detroit beats Baltimore 7-3. Boston a 3-1 winner over the Yankees. In the National League, the Mets beat Montreal. Their magic number down to 5. And the Dodgers 4-3 over Cincinnati. San Fran beat Houston 4-2. Hunting season is upon us in the huntingest region in the nation right now, and I recently hooked up with outdoor enthusiast Bob Johnson, who says it's never too early to train your retriever.
Okay.
A walk along any shore with Bob Johnson and his 6-month-old black lab Rush is a learning experience. Rush has already gone through the fun of learning to retrieve a dummy. Today it's leash training, learning to heel.
What we want to do is we want to get the dog paying attention to what it is that I'm doing, rather than what he would like to do. I think the toughest thing is to put all his energies in the right direction. You don't want to break that spirit. You don't want to take out of him what you've spent maybe years trying to breed into the dog.
Back. Then it's on to working the dog through decoys and making the retrieve. A key here is making the commands understandable for the dog. Short commands.
The command to send them back sounds distinctly different than sit or stay or here, which are the other basic commands. So what you want to do is keep the dog's vocabulary at a level that they can understand. Attaboy. Attaboy.
You're doing something right, Bob.
Okay.
And nice retrieve, Rush. Tomorrow night, training for longer and multiple retrieves. Rush was up looking for rough grouse, which opened today in the North Country. The North Stars are playing in Calgary tonight, and the Flames 4, the North Stars 3.
Okay. You talked to Dino, you say?
Well,
trade?
early next week to Pittsburgh.
Ooh,
you heard it
here first. All right. Thanks, RJ. In just a moment, we'll check out the Twin Cities Anchor Dream Team and take a tour of McAllister's brand new library. Stay tuned.
It used to be, when investors got into the stock market, they could almost plan on things going one way. But unfortunately, things don't always come out as planned. So if you're looking for an investment you can count on, come to TCF for a variety of insured savings plans that offer a guaranteed rate and keep yourself well covered.
But listeners have a choice in the morning.
Not everyone listens to WLTE to start the day.
Yeah, some people. Just like a dose of wacky guys first thing.
Even I sometimes tune around for news or talk, but then I spend the day with WLTE.
That's okay. WLTE is perfect to listen to all day long.
Wherever you are.
It's because we have great light songs to sing along with. Our main message, no matter how you start the day, spend the day with the Light FM, 103 WLTE.
Right now across America, Sun Valley is rolling out truckloads of quality waterbeds at hot special purchase prices. While they last, handsome Springfield bookcase beds with mirrored headboards are just $149. Soma 2s with adjustable firmness are super values at $299. And solid oak Danish-style waterbeds with floating nightstands are only $699. Buy now with no money down and free financing for 6 months. But you better come to Sun Valley Waterbeds today, because when these special buys are gone, they're gone.
Today was the day for the long-awaited opening of Macalester College's $15 million library. It's one of the most technologically advanced libraries ever built in the Twin Cities. Daryl Savage takes us behind the ribbon cutting.
It looks like a graduation when in fact it was much the opposite. The dedication of the new state-of-the-art library is being called a new beginning for this college. More than 1,000 people came for the ceremony and to tour the facility, including the keynote speaker, who is the director of New York City's public library.
Minnesota has set always higher standards for philanthropy in the nation, traditionally. They put their money where their mouth is.
And it's a lot of money, $15 million worth, including some of the most sophisticated research systems you'll find in any library.
We're standing right by some computer terminals that'll contain our card catalog, or what used to be our card catalog. And students will be looking up material in the library on terminals here.
Some of the most unique features include numerous computer adapters for people who want to bring in their own personal computers, automated lighting systems that turn on with the touch of a button and off when you leave the room. Plus, there's 4 times as much room for students as the previous school library.
Compared to the old library, the new library has tons more space, and there's a lot of private study rooms. It's really nice to have.
The library will likely strengthen McAllister's reputation, and college spokespeople point out the library is open to people throughout the community, not just students and faculty. Daryl Savage, WCCO Television News, St. Paul.
If you watch a lot of TV news, you may want to pick up a copy of tomorrow's Minneapolis Star-Tribune. In the latest Minnesota poll, results of the Twin Cities Dream News Team survey. We're happy to say Channel 4's Pat Miles came out on top in the female anchor category. Channel 11's Paul Majors is the Twin Cities' favorite male anchor, with Paul Douglas coming in first in the meteorology department. And WCCO's Mark Rosen beat out the rest of the sportscasters in town as the local favorite. So there you have it, the Twin Cities Dream News Team. But the Minnesota poll did ignore one category. Top male fill-in weekend anchor. Now, the vote may surprise you. That's right, it's our own Alan Cox, a part of the Weekend Dream News Team. Congratulations, Alan. Any comment to all those people out there that voted for you?
Not on television. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
You're doing a great job.
Thanks a lot.
One can of infant formula. It costs about $2. And yet more than 16,000 babies in Minnesota alone are threatened by malnutrition and poor health. But in Washington, they'll feed and clothe the Contras in a covert war before they'll help our kids. That's ridiculous. I'm running for the U.S. Senate because our priorities in Washington have to change. And I'll start right here by helping our kids.
Humphrey, U.S. Senate. A change for the better.
I just can't lose weight fast enough.
Yes, you can, with Weight Watchers on your side. With our new Quick Success program, you can lose weight faster than ever without being hungry.
I just can't lose weight fast enough.
You can with Weight Watchers on your side. You'll get